Okay, my name is Grace Boyajian, and we are here at Holy Trinity Church Kitchen. We're going to make Mante today, and it's November 17, 2010, and we make about 22 to 25 pounds of Mante. Okay, these are the ingredients to make the dough for the Mante. We have 15 pounds of King Arthur flour. We have a quarter of a cup of oil. Now I use the Virginia brand. It's a mixture of vegetable oil and olive oil. But you can use canola if you want. And we have a quarter cup of salt plus 2 tablespoons, 8 eggs, and 15 cups of water. Okay, now I'm going to get my eggs all 8 broken into a bowl to get it ready to put into the flour mixture. Okay, now the flour is being put into the food processor, which is a commercial food processor. That's 15 pounds of flour. And now the salt. Now the oil, there's about a quarter of a cup of oil in here. Now all the eggs go in. And you don't have to beat them because the beater will be doing that. 15 cups of water. The last 3 cups we hold off because sometimes, according to the weather, you might either need a little more water or you might not. So don't put all 15 in at once. Leave about 3 cups out and go accordingly. Now it's mixing, and it'll take a little while for everything to blend in. The consistency of the dough should be like churro dough. Not too soft, but a little on the stiff side, but yet enough so it's pliable enough for you to roll out the dough. See, at the same time, this machine is kneading your dough, so you don't have to knead it with your hands after a while, like some doughs do. This does everything. Well, now I'm testing it to see. Now, see, this is very stiff. We need a little bit more water. You see how stiff it is? We're adding about another cup of water. We're waiting for the dough to be more pliable, a little softer than it was before. And that's why we have to keep mixing this until the dough takes hold. Well, so far we've gone over the 3 minutes, so it's going to be close to about 5-6 minutes. And you're not going to do there won't be any danger to the dough. I mean, it'll be fine. The more you mix it, the better it is. It's like kneading it. Well, it's still a little stiff.
Okay. So what do we need to do, Grace?
I'm going to put in a little more water.
Okay, Grace, how much?
How
much water are we putting in here now, Grace?
Oh, maybe about a quarter cup today.
That's a teaspoon.
Meg cup?
No.
Yes cup?
Yes, come up.
Yes cup.
All right, kitchen tip.
So Grace, tell us why you were adding more water. What was the reason?
Because it was still a little too stiff.
Okay.
So if you have to roll the dough out, you're going to have a hard time.
So we're well over 5 minutes.
Yeah, so you might have to go into 10 minutes. There's really no specific time. You just keep putting it on until you reach the right consistency by adding a little more water if you need it.
Now earlier I heard a comment that the weather might have an effect.
The weather does have an effect on it. Usually when it's very damp out, it'll take a little more flour. It could be moisture, but Today it's not that bad. Well, it's humid a little bit, but it should be okay. Well, right now we added a little bit more water, which was maybe about another half a cup to 3/4 of a cup. And now that it's been moving right along, it's getting to look smooth. The dough doesn't look bumpy. It's breaking away from the sides of the bowl. And the consistency looks like it's going to be good for us to roll it out.
So would you
It's
say
a very stiff dough, you're going to have a hard time rolling it out.
So would you say we're approaching roughly 10 minutes so far now?
Yeah, dough is right. It's just enough.
Bring it over here.
It's very good. Very, very good. You see how nice and pliable it is?
Okay.
Flour on the table so it won't stick to the table. Sprinkle the flour a little bit.
Excellent.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going to measure it so that
Show us the consistency again.
and your dough has to rest also. See, the consistency is just perfect.
Oh, just like
And then
that.
after it rests, it's even a little soft.
Excuse me. Turn it over this way a little bit.
Yeah, Grace, show me right there. Aim it right at this lens here. That's it. Good. That's good.
See how nice it is? Nice. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Do 6½ ounces.
So Grace, for our viewers, why don't you explain to us why you have to measure 6½ ounces?
Because we do have a Mante machine that rolls out this dough beautifully. And if we do it in about, like, say, 6½ ounces, it comes out to a good size. And we have the girls cut it up, and then the ladies inside will stuff them. Okay, we put the parchment paper down on the pan, and we put the dough that we have measured out on there. And this prevents it from sticking to the pan. And then we cover it with saran wrap and aluminum foil, and we put it in the refrigerator so that we could use it tomorrow when we make the mante. And that gives the dough a good chance to rest. The reason why we put saran wrap on it is we don't want the dough to have a crust on it. It could dry out if it's not wrapped properly. And then after he puts the saran wrap, he's going to put aluminum foil, and then we refrigerate it. Okay, now this is the meat that's going into the mante. We have 2 pounds of pork. We have 8 pounds of beef, and we have 6 pounds of lamb. And we have salt and pepper, a 1/2 cup of salt, 1/4 cup of black pepper, and we have onions. We have 2½ quarts of onions and 10 cloves of garlic that we put through the food processor with the onions, which is about 12 very large onions. Put it through a food processor and it should be almost fine. And you have to put it in a sieve to let all of the water from the onions drain, because you don't want that in your meat. Okay, right now we're going to, as they say in Armenian, shovel the meat. And we're going to gather all this up and mix it. And I have one of my workers here who's a great help to me, and he's going to come and shovel the meat. And then we're going to add the spices, which is onion and black pepper. I'm putting pepper and salt in it. Oh, there was a 1/4 cup of pepper and a 1/2 cup of salt. Catherine, give me, oh, there's the water, give it to me. Now sometimes the meat might be a little dry. Just add a little bit of water. Well, that was about a half a cup. Okay, now we're adding the onion. 2.5 quarts.
Thank you.
And these containers, when you get them, save them. They're a lifesaver.
Catherine, you might want to hold the handle of that pan maybe so it's not moving around.
I'll do anything you'd like.
Don't throw it at me.
Aren't you going to tell us who your helper is over here?
Well, I did before, but his name is Bruce Newell. And he's an excellent baker also.
I'll get a cutaway of him in
And
space.
he also uses the machine to roll out the dough.
Okay.
So they really do a wonderful job, these men. And of course our cameraman is wonderful too, taking our picture.
Joe Smith.
Joe Smith.
I know a Joe Smith.
You're looking at him.
He's from TV, isn't he?
No,
Introduced.
he's, I don't know, president of something or in
On the side,
Hollywood.
they had turned the thing around. Well, we got to make sure that everything is mixed very well. The onions, the pepper, the salt, and always taste it and make sure if there's enough salt for you, you know, that you like it, you feel it's okay. If you need more or if you want less, this is the time to do it. We're transferring from the big pan into the small pan, and we are going to wrap this up and with saran and foil, and we're going to put it in the refrigerator, and it'll be all ready for us to use tomorrow when we make the Mante. Right now we're covering it. This is my friend Catherine.
Lovely hands, Catherine.
She's a very big help to me. This bowl is going to go in the refrigerator.
That's it.
This machine rolls out and flattens the dough. What you do is you sprinkle a little powder on the top of the machine so that so the dough doesn't stick. You take a piece of dough and you feed it in the machine, and it comes out this other side somewhat flat. Now you start off with number 5 setting, and I usually run it through a couple of times before I change the setting. Now I'll drop the setting down a little bit, sprinkle a little more flour, and run it through. If you run the piece of dough through in the same direction, it'll be elongated. If you turn it, it'll sort of round out, like such. And now I'm going to drop it down a little bit more, so it becomes thinner. And each time, you can sprinkle a little bit of flour on it so that the dough doesn't stick to the machine. As you can see, the piece of dough is getting larger. And down to about a number 2 at this point. Catch it as it comes out so it doesn't fall on the table. And when you feed it in the top side, you've got to make sure that it's flat and the dough is not folded over. This is probably going to be the last pass right here. And that's it.
Well, this is where we cut the dough to be the right size for the Mante. And what we have is we have a tool that's designed with the right sizes. And we measure it up to this end. And come back down in here, pressing it down. It's important that you press it down hard to make sure you make the cut. that way. And then to start the next row, you place it right here and kind of go a little way till you have the right distance. And then you start right in there so they all remain the same size. Then you turn it this way and go through basically the same process. You start at the furthest end over, then go to measure it in. You come back in here and press it all down.
Okay.
Have it that way. And again, you put it right on that line and you just kind of give it a little start so you'll know where to go. And then you see the squares, so when we bring it into the tables where they do the pinching and put it in, which you'll see later, you're able to have the exact right size squares.
This is step number 2. What I'm doing is taking the meat and just pinching off enough that will fill each one of the pieces of dough. It helps the women because their hands don't get into the meat. I'm doing that myself, and I'm doing all the same size, so it makes it all uniform.
So step number 3, we're putting the meat in the little bits of dough, and we're folding the sides and pinching them together. Put it on this piece of on this plate here.
People are getting the message. How much meat do we have left? Half a bowl. That's good.